Well, welcome, Joe. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, why don't we start? Joe's a recent graduate from the Blissful Breadwinner program. We'd love you to start by sharing a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
So my name's Jo, and I am from New Zealand. I am a national manager for a large state-owned enterprise here in New Zealand. So I joined the program because I was struggling, not that anybody would notice. I think Joe's referred to the duck paddling analogy once or twice, and that was definitely me. I was the pristine duck on the top of the water and paddling madly below. So that set off some alarm bells for me. And I saw, I can't remember, I think it might have been on Facebook. And it just seems like a blur now. And I saw something on Facebook and started receiving Joe's emails and here I am.
Absolutely, come out the other end and tell me. Obviously, you're a mum of beautiful Kiva as well, on top of all of that. So you're trying to juggle a big full-time job and you've got a daughter as well. Where have you come from? You kind of said it's a bit of a blur, feels like a bit of a lifetime ago. Where are you now? What's changed for you since you've come through the program?
I think it's better to ask what hasn't changed. So I used to be, I used to be the person that was working all weekend, working in the evenings, constantly checking my phone. I was the person, and I hate to say it now, but I was the person who put work first. There was a clear hierarchy. It was work, my daughter, my husband, my friends, the animals, um, anything else, and then me at the very bottom. So since I've been on this program, I definitely am at the top of that pyramid now, which is never a place I've put myself or thought I should be. Um, but everything has changed. I now no longer work the weekends if I can really help it. I did have a weekend of no working this weekend. I try my best not to look at my phone after work's finished and check emails. I am definitely more thoughtful about how I use my time. I've realized that time is precious, and my daughter's only 3 and I need to spend the time with her while she's little. You don't get that time back. And also one-on-one time with my husband as well, and or time as a family. It's not great knowing or having that epiphany that work was your everything, and the child that I longed for so long, I was putting second. So it's been quite an eye-opener for me. And I've just used all the tools that Joe's given me just to make some amazing changes in my life. And I'm so much happier for it. And my family has definitely noticed a difference as well.
Wow. And just to be clear, you haven't changed jobs, you haven't stepped back, you haven't got less responsibilities. Everything else at work has stayed the same.
Everything at work has stayed the same. Everything is the same, but nothing's the same. So it's about using my time intentionally, which is a big ethos of yours, and just making sure that I'm present where I need to be and not doing what I don't need to do, not doing things that don't add value, which was a big eye-opener for me. I realized I was attending meetings that I really didn't need to attend. People thought I should be there, and then there was a little part of me that was like, well, maybe I should be there just so I know what's going on. Now I've cleared my calendar so that I have intentional time slots to be able to do the work that I need to do during my work time, and then after work is after work time, and I have that time to spend with my family, or to spend on myself. Goodness me, that's a revelation.
Tell me, how did you fit this in? Because I know obviously you've got a big job. Like you said, work was the process. The one thing many people say to me is, I don't have time to do something like this. And I know this is something you were afraid of. Tell me, how did you squeeze it in?
Yeah, that was definitely a fear for me. Yeah, I was struggling before. How would I fit in another 10, 15, however many hours you wanted to spend that week on it? But once you learn the tools around managing your time, you can fit it in. In one of my first calls, I remember you saying, how many hours do you work on an average per week? And I told you, and then you times that by how many years I'd been in the business. And we did a short calculation on the amount of extra hours I'd offered my business for free. So I managed to shift that guilt and actually did some of the course in my work time in short bursts. So between that and doing it outside of work, that gave me a really good balance to be able to do it all. And because the course is so interesting and exciting, you find the time. You really do find the time. You want to carry on and you want to do it. So I would, the time thing it does not end up being an issue. It really doesn't.
It's always nice when I say that on the phone to people and they don't believe me. I'm like, no, trust me. By week 1, it won't be a problem. And it's great that you're more proof for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember saying the exact same thing to you. I don't have the time, but you actually do.
Yeah. So tell me, what did life look like? You kind of mentioned where you were before you were the duck on the pond. What were some of the biggest challenges that you were facing before you joined?
The biggest challenges for me, I work in a very male-dominated industry. So while we are working on our diversity, definitely women are a little bit thinner on the ground. So I work with a lot of alpha males, which has always been great, but I've learned some more skills around how to deal more effectively with them, and just look at the way I communicate with people. I also found, prior to delving into my limiting beliefs, that I'm really hung up on perfectionism. Now, I knew that I had a small amount of perfectionism, but how deep that actually is ingrained in me was definitely a revelation, and how much that drives all of my behavior, from a work, a personal level, on every level. So I've done a lot of work around trying to change some of those behaviors, or the thoughts around those behaviors, and that's been really, really beneficial. And I've been able to share some of those things with my team and my friends, and definitely my husband's noticed. I'm not plumping the cushions and as much, and I'm definitely trying to let go of some of those perfectionist tendencies, which tended to make me use up more time that was then potentially necessary, while I was trying to get everything just right, and particularly in work as well. A lot to be said for Joe's mantra of done is better than perfect.
Do it across the brain.
Definitely. So I use it on a daily basis, just to keep myself in check. And if I think that I am overdoing things mentally, I do check in with myself and say, is this me being a perfectionist, or is this actually okay? And 9 times out of 10, it is okay, and it's just me adding that extra layer of whatever on top of things to make my life harder. But it's that realization that you can, self-check and make your life easier once you know how and what it is that's holding you back.
Amazing. So tell me, you said you're on my list for quite a while. I think you were on my list maybe 6 months or so before you enrolled. What changed and made you say, oh, this is kind of interesting stuff, to, oh no, I really need to fix this now?
Oh, look, we've been going through lots of things at work, restructures, and of course the whole COVID lockdown, which for me added more work instead of less. There were lots of different things like that, and I also had the realization that I wasn't role modeling very well to either my team or my daughter, and I think that was a bit of an epiphany for me. I don't want the members of my team or my child to think that if, to be a successful person in your career, that something has to give. So yeah, and basically the emails that you sent out, it was like reading about myself. It was like you were reflecting back at me, and I was like, I've got to meet this lady. She sounds really cool, and she sounds just like me. So
even the same name, so even better.
I know. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it was easy, and I was, as everybody is, a little bit hesitant about meeting some strange person from a different country via Zoom. It's not a natural environment, but honestly, you couldn't have made things any easier. That rapport was there straight away. You're the kind of person that I would immediately be drawn to, and as you say, we have a good tribe of women, and yeah, there's a reason why we all seem to gravitate towards you and towards this type of course.
Debbie, so tell me about the tribe. How did you find it, and what was the biggest benefit for you?
The whole tribe thing was a little bit interesting for me. You've told me that everybody feels the same, that, but they've got bigger jobs than me, or, they're a little bit more important, or, their struggle must be, way different to mine, or, but the women in the tribe, we're all the same. We speak the same language, we've got the same issues. Some of us might have a few more kids than others, or be, in slightly different roles, but generally, we're across the board, and everybody's so kind and willing to help out and supportive. And I've graduated from the course, but I still keep in touch with some of the women on the course, which is really nice, and we hold ourselves accountable for things. Or it's been amazing, and to be able to continue to speak that same sort of language has been really important. Sometimes you might throw out a phrase to somebody uninitiated, and they'll be thinking, what's this crazy lady talking about? But if you're talking to one of the women in the tribe, then they know exactly what you're talking about. They've got your back and likely to help point you in the right direction, or just give you that little nudge that you need.
So what would be your takeaways for anybody listening thinking, maybe I've been on Jo's list for a while, or I'm not so sure about this? What would your advice be to them?
Please do not hesitate. Do it now. Do it now. Do it yesterday. You won't regret it. Everybody has their hesitations, and whether it's the time, the financial investment, or any of those things, I don't know whether I'll fit in, or I may not be the sort of person that Jo can be able to help. Well, you will be. You will be all of those things, and your life will be so much better come the other end. And Jo, as you often say, this is not a one and done course. So there's definitely the potential to keep going and keep reinventing yourself and keep learning from the skills that you're constantly learning, and just refining them, and just making your life a little bit easier. And I think that's been the massive takeaway from me, is life just feels easier. And I never thought that I would be able to say that. But it's just been mind-blowing. And I can't thank you enough, really. I just can't.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure. To tell me, what does the future hold for Jo? I know it's easier, which is wonderful, and it's lighter. What are you most excited about?
I am most excited about what holds me in the future, what I can achieve now that I've got some of these more refined skills, and just my drive is quite different. I'm not afraid of asking for things or saying no. So I've got a different spin on how I think about things. So really looking forward to spending some more quality time with my gorgeous family. And yeah, just seeing what is in store for me, because I feel unstoppable.
I love that word. It has a great ring to it. Well, Jo, you've been a pleasure to work with. You've been, not only do you have the best name in the world, but you've been so much fun. You've gone all in, and I think you've got amazing results. So hats off to you. This is just the beginning, and I'm so excited to be part of your future journey.
Thank you so much.
No worries.